A lot of folks in Black America seem pretty pissed at me right now, from friends and loved ones to colleagues, contemporaries, and dare I say even the NAACP itself. Quite a few folks were put off, if not flat out offended, after my words were interpreted as associating support for Trump from the Black community with all the legal issues he's facing. For that, I sincerely apologize.
I bet. So the problem with Stephen A. Smith is that he's trying to please everybody. He's trying to please ESPN. He's trying to please the Black community. He's trying to please the sponsors. And as a recovering people pleaser myself, one thing I learned is that people pleasing usually backfires. And it usually backfires because there's going to come a time where you're serving competing interests. What do you mean by that, you ask? Don't worry, the polite Canadian got you. So let's take Stephen A. Smith, for example, and how he professes to love the community. He talks about how he's put so many Black people on and how he's in these streets.
You ain't the only brother out there that's in the streets. I'm in the streets every day.
And sure, Stephen A. Smith may very well be in these streets. He may very well be serving his community. But at the same time, Stephen A. Smith wakes up every morning thinking about how he's going to be able to make more money for his bosses.
I wake up every morning with two thoughts. Number one, how do I make my bosses more money? And number two, how do I get some of it? And when I put it like that, there isn't anybody that's not going to be receptive to what I want to say, because they recognize that my number one mission is to make sure they're successful. And when you have that kind of mentality, it opens the floodgates because it makes an inordinate amount of people receptive to what you're bringing to the table, because they know that you're trying to create something that they stand to benefit from as well, not just yourself.
And I would ask, as a critical thinker, how is it that your main motivation is to make more money for the mainstream media, who has a history of depicting Black people in a negative light? And now you've got competing interests. Now let me just make this one thing clear. This is not a Stephen A. Smith hit piece. I am just an analyst, and I'm just analyzing Wagwan. And according to my analysis, Stephen A. Smith has a history of being super critical of Black athletes and much more lenient towards the white ones. For example, let's take it back to 2021 when there was a vaccine mandate in place for majority of the NBA players. Kyrie Irving refused to get vaccinated. My body, my choice, right? Stephen A. Smith, he held no punches. He was all over Kyrie like curry on chicken. He was all over Kyrie like the feds on Diddy. Now, around the same time, former NFL star Brett Favre and some of his cronies were implicated in a multi-million-dollar scandal in which they took taxpayers' money to fund their own personal interest. But Stephen A. Smith's energy was far more chill. It's like it didn't even happen. And Stephen A., he has no problem being compromised because, in the words of Kwame Brown, Stephen A. Smith is a part of the
go along, get along gang.
And as long as Stephen A. Smith continues to be a part of the go along, get along gang, he can continue to make millions of dollars and keep the windows of opportunities open. One of the windows of opportunity that Stephen A. Smith seems to be chasing is a future career in political commentary. And that's why I'm making this video right now, because he went over to Fox News to connect with his longtime friend Sean Hannity. Now the thing is with Fox News is that they seem to be an outlet and a voice for all of the right white conservatives to air all of their grievances with every other demographic in the world. So when Stephen A. Smith showed up on Sean Hannity's show, he actually endorsed a comment from Donald Trump in which Donald Trump said,
"The Black people are so much on my side now because they see what's happening to me happens to them." The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The Black population. It's incredible. You see,
by Donald Trump's statement weeks ago, talking about how Black folks, he's hearing that Black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what Black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. When you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that Black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures. We've seen that happen throughout society. So no matter what race, what ethnicity you may emanate from, we relate to you when you're suffering like that because we know we have. And that's what he articulated.
Now, I found out through the Shade Room's Instagram account that the NAACP publicly denounced Stephen A. Smith's comments. And in the comment section, as you can imagine, there was a whole bunch of, "Oh, you were cool. You were Uncle Tom. You were tap dancing house Negro." Those weren't the exact words, but you get the drift. Anyways, Stephen A. Smith, he actually apologized but not for his comments. He apologized for people taking him out of context, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, including D.L. Hewley.
What insults me is when you say something and pretend like you didn't say it. We heard what you said, then you said they taking me out of context. Show me what it is that you said that was different than I perceived you saying.
Right.
Who are you hanging around that thinks an old fraudulent is relatable to you? Who is in your sphere that you think that's okay? Don't be a pussy. Tell me you didn't say it. You did.
And this is why he's being called out, because in 2016, he literally said that black people should vote for Trump. And now he's acting like he doesn't support the man. And I mean, anybody could vote for anybody. It really doesn't matter to me. I really think that it should be kept to yourself. But I don't think your vote inherently makes you a sellout or even for the cause. I just think that politics is divisive. I think it's crooked. And I think that the theatrics of it is no more real than WWE. Unfortunately, these things have real life consequences. I mean, certain parts of this world, you can't even speak on who you're voting for because you could lose your life. Now, I must give Stephen A. Smith a little bit of credit because he at least tried to stand on his position.
Anywhere I appear, no matter my subjectivity relating to what I feel, is still going to be based on facts being presented into the stratosphere. That is who I've always been. It is what I will always continue to be. But it's never exercised with malice in my heart and soul. Certainly never to insult or harm the black community, my community.
But the heat was too hot. And then Stephen A. Smith, on his show a couple days after, said this.
Maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't exactly want to bring up the fact that it's my wife's birthday and I can't be with her, I can't spend time with her because I'm in court. When the reason I'm in court is for allegedly paying hush money to a porn star. They're saying that he paid off a porn star. Well, what'd you pay off for? What'd you pay off a porn star for? I mean, assuming that is true for a second there, what'd you pay off for? Cause you were getting loose with the porn star. Now, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I'm a liberal in certain respects. I ain't knocking the man. I'm simply making the point. You might not want to bring that up. That's just me.
So what would have motivated Stephen A. Smith to go up there and give a redundant critique of Donald Trump? It's to show the black community that, hey, I hate Donald Trump too. And I don't like Donald Trump. Matter of fact, I love black people. Oh yeah, that's exactly what he's trying to do. But he can't fool me. At the end of the day, I ain't pro-red, I ain't pro-blue, I ain't pro-black, I'm only pro-truth. But those are my thoughts. Now I'd like to hear from you. Peace.